Hey, it's James Rabe. We have to say something here, but I don't want to say much. Thanks for listening to the Y105 FM Early Morning Show, Radio On Demand podcast. Love you. Early Morning Show. My name is James Rabe, and a guy named Jeff Bonner had all but given up on seeing his poodle hound mix again after she went missing in early June. She ran away with a friend, literally, and 2 months later, he got a text from a neighbor. People exploring a nearby cave found a dog. Could it be Abby? He doubted it, but still curious. He went to the cave site near his rural Missouri home. That's when he saw the picture of the one of the rescuers took. I said, that's my dog. Making Abby's tale even more amazing is the fact that she's just weeks shy of turning 40, yet somehow she managed to survive nearly 60 days out on her own in 58-degree weather overnight in a cave. Wow. This is Y105 FM's Early Morning Show.
Here's what you missed on the early.
So make sure you get to Thursdays downtown at lunchtime and enjoy all the fun. It's the very last day for it, for crying out loud. Rain expected after 2 o'clock. It is Y105 FM's Early Morning Show. I'm James Rabe, and this is an amazing TikTok about what a gal made a guy do in order for her to take him back after he cheated on her.
I told the guy that I would continue to see him, but he would have to pay for my nose job that I really wanted because he caused me to have insecurities, and also I didn't want my time to be wasted. Because what if he cheats on me again, you know? So here's the proof that I actually did get one. Yeah, and he ended up cheating on me again, so was it worth it? Yeah, it was.
I love that game. I would never partake in that game because my heart is too tender. But I totally appreciate it. She got cheated on, and she knew he was a cheater. I am certain of this. So she said, yeah, you love me? Oh, baby, I love you. I'll do anything if you take me back. Because the cheater wants to be seen as a good person, right? No, baby, it was just a one-time thing, just a mistake. Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby. And so then she says, yeah, I want a nose job. Okay, baby, you'll see. I love you so much. I will never cheat on you again. Knowing full well he's going to cheat on her again. And she knew that, too, and she got a nose job out of it. That is super impressive. Now, Allie, you got a friend. What'd your friend make her husband do when he got caught cheating?
Her name was Tammy. This was about 15, 20 years ago. And she caught her old man cheating, and he's like, I'll do anything. I swear, I'll go to counseling. I'll do anything you need, anything you want. I'll do anything. She sat down, and she thought about it. She goes, okay, I want a trip. And he's like, okay, where do you want to go? She goes, it doesn't matter. I just want a trip. And she's like, well, I can do that. That's not a problem. She goes, no, the catch is you have to go in the nude through the mall to the travel agency, order our tickets, and walk back out. So he politely said, okay, and did that. As he was coming back out of the mall, he met the police department, who automatically wanted to arrest him for indecent exposure and turned around and gave him a $150 ticket for indecent exposure instead of jail time. They stayed together. She helped pay for the fine because she didn't want him to pay for it all by himself. So she helped pay for the fine, and they went to, I believe they went overseas to France or to Spain or somewhere.
You know what? Good for them. I'm not gonna cast aspersions on them. I'm not gonna wish poor luck on them because that's not a good thing to do. I learned that from my former coworker at Shenanigans, Scotty. He was like, don't wish bad luck on people's marriages. It's like, you know what? You're absolutely right, dude. Bad on me. However, I will say, Caleb, he left a message on the Y105 FM app just now with one of the hardest luck stories about, and this is exactly why I could never try and make this kind of deal, trade something to forgive them.
It's kind of the flip side of the coin because my girlfriend cheated on me, and I bought her a house and thought that would fix things, and that didn't. So I turned around and bought her a car. That didn't fix things either. Once a cheater, always a cheater, and you're not going to buy anybody. You can't buy happiness. You can buy toys to make you happy, but you can't buy people. Well, she went to prison. I sold the house. Well, actually, I lease out the house because I paid cash for all of it, but and then her car sits in my garage. I haven't drove it in about 4 years.
Oh, man, that is hard stuff. Caleb left that message, by the way, on the Y105 FM app, and he did it just by going to our app and hitting the little microphone. It lets you leave a message, boop, just like that. Hi, I'm James Rabe. It's the Y105 FM Early Morning Show. I want to give you a programming note because around 7:45, we're going to be talking to my friend Mark Lindquist, who is a veteran that is with a bunch of other veterans in Ukraine. And he's going to give us an update on the humanitarian crisis. Things have been pretty rough over there for them, and we're going to find out how that's going on just about half an hour from now on Y105 FM's Early Morning Show.
Progressive presents Don't Do It Yourself.
Okay, so and the appropriate name for this story, do I call it the day James Rabe's worlds collided story? Or is it the, oh really, what story? That's kind of more dramatic, right? Well, you can decide what the name of the story should be as soon as I tell it. Hi, it's James Rabe on Y105 FM's Early Morning Show. And on Tuesday was the Chamber of Commerce, Rochester Chamber of Commerce street party. Town Square Media and Premier Bank get involved, and we had a blast. I get to MC it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm talking to my pal, Donnie Rowells, who's hanging out there, and he's talking to a woman, a redhead, and says to me, he says, hey, how's things going? And I say, hey, things are great. And he introduces me to the woman next to me, and she says, oh, I know who he is. And she looks at me, I know all about you. Oh, yeah? She says, I know your ex-wife really well. And I go, oh, cool. You know who I'm talking about? Do I know who my ex-wife is? Yes, I do. She's awesome. And she really is. Straight up. All right? So it's her saying, I know your ex-wife really well. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. You know, that's cool. All right, cool, neat. You know everything about me. I'll watch my step around you. And then Donnie and I are talking some more, and he asks how Diana is. And I say, oh, she's great. He said, she's still out in Truman? Oh, yeah. And if you don't know, Diana's my girlfriend. She's still out in Truman? Yep, right on the farm. Taking care of business, working from Mayo Remote. Oh, that's neat. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And then the redhead says, wait, did you say Truman, Minnesota? And Donnie and I said, yeah. And she says, did you say Diana? I says, yeah. She says, what's her last name? And then Donnie says, Diana Evans. And she goes, shut up. I went to high school with her. Oh! What? So you can see where the what comes in. You not only know my ex-wife, but you also know my current girlfriend. Well, they were in high school together. They weren't in classes right next to each other. They weren't same age and stuff. But still, it's Truman. It's a small town. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's friends. And suddenly I thought, oh my goodness, these worlds are colliding. Stop. Keep it apart. James divided against himself cannot stand. Anyway, that's my story. What do you think the name should be? You're listening to Y105 FM's Early Morning Show. The crop dusting helicopter that tangled with power lines is next. A Florida man was unhurt after crashing a helicopter he was piloting into power lines in Wabasha County. Good morning, I'm James Rabe. It is the Y105 FM Early Morning Show News Minute. Will it rain on the last Thursdays downtown? We'll find out in 60 seconds. 21-year-old Tyler Williams was crop dusting near Elgin Tuesday afternoon when he crashed into the power lines. The FAA is set to inspect the wreckage, which was moved to a different site following the crash. See photos on the Y105 FM app. Also on our app this morning, first court appearance for Rochester man charged in woman's death. Minnesota, part of $450 million tentative $450 million tentative settlement with opioid maker and thousands of dollars worth of tools stolen from Rochester construction site. And the Rabe shot. Buffalo Wild Wings is adding pizza to their menu just in time for the college football season. Their boneless bar pizza is topped with boneless wings, ranch dressing, blue cheese crumbles, pickled hot peppers, chopped green onions, and medium buffalo sauce. You know why I will not be getting this? God love you, Buffalo Wild Wings. Your salt and vinegar is my favorite. However, no, they're not boneless wings. It's chicken. It's chicken breast. It's chunks of chicken breast. It's not a wing. Not even close to it. There's no bone in there, therefore no wing. And it's not dark meat. It is white meat. That makes it chicken breast on your turkey, on your pizza, which is fine. It's just, what? That is not a chicken, James. That's a turkey. Why do I have turkey on the head? And rooster's not appropriate, but I'll do it anyway. It's just, that's chicken breasts. It is Y105 FM's weather. For today, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 2 o'clock. A high should be 80. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms, a low 62. And then tomorrow, showers and maybe a thunderstorm, a high 75. Again for today, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 2 o'clock and a high 80. That could mess with Thursday's downtown. No guarantee because it's only 50% chance, right? But just in case, make sure you get out for lunch. And if you try anything, make sure you send me a picture of it. If I can't make it to lunch today, So send me a picture here at Y105FM. Do it through our app, why don't you? You can just hit the camera. It is Y105FM's early morning show. On the way, we are going to be talking with my friend Mark Lindquist, the veteran that's joined a ton of other veterans over in Ukraine, delivering much needed medical support. He just raised $100,000 to move millions of dollars worth of medical supplies to the Ukraine. We'll see how things are going there on the Y105FM early morning show.
Working for a living is a whole lot better.
It's James Rabe, and my sister just called and wanted to say, did you say in the news that a Florida man did something in Rochester? And I said, yes. She says, it's creeping northward. They're coming north. I said, yeah, well, I thought the cold would keep them out. Apparently, it did not. It is a very exciting time this morning because we have not talked to him for a while with issues with communications and stuff going on. Mark Lindquist, welcome to the Y105 FM early morning show. I don't know if you're in Ukraine right now or not, but I hear you're on R&R.
I am in an undisclosed location in Western Europe doing some R&R. First chance I've had to get away for about 150 days.
That's a pretty impressive chunk of time, my friend, not taking a break.
Well, you kind of get it back into deployment cycle, and you think about the American military that goes overseas. If you're in a deployed area, you don't get a day off. There's no such thing as a day off. You go 7 days a week, and, your time off is at the chow hall and at the gym, and you kind of get into that rhythm. And, of course, with the great need that is in front of you, it's easy to get yourself in that kind of rhythm.
Right, I suppose. You said to ask you about winter. Is winter? Well, I suppose here winter's coming in a few months. What about there?
The climate over here, if you look at the globe, it's basically at the same level as maybe southern Minnesota or Iowa. And so the winters there are as if you were going to spend winters with no heat and no electricity in northern Iowa, southern Minnesota. That's cold.
Yes, very cold.
It'll get down into the teens, no problem over here. And they do have white Christmases. And so I've been in the houses of people in Kharkiv where a rocket struck, a missile landed 50 meters away from her front door. And the foundation is cracked, the roof got hit by shrapnel and it leaks, and the windows are blown out. What is a person like that going to do with the coming winter? And so a lot of the preparations for winter, which will come in November or December in Ukraine, are being started now. And I worry about that. I worry about 100,000 people in Mariupol living through a harsh winter without food, without jobs, unless you go help the Russians at the seaport or the rail station. And what are they going to do? So I'll be coming home soon to tell that story because we got a lot of work to do before winter comes.
Well, and when I think about it, when you and I first chatted about why you are going over, this is months and months, well, over 150 days ago. One of the things that inspired you to go was that the refugee line was so long and it took so long to process. People were dying in the cold of night trying to get out of the country.
Imagine if you traveled all the way from an area that was being struck by missiles, make it across the border, spend 24, 48 hours traveling in a train, and you finally make it to the border and the cold kills you? The world that I live in the United States of America, we have extra. We have to give of that right now because the stories about Ukraine are on the back page, not the front page anymore.
Right.
And so dollars have dried up, and I've got Western partners ready to operate and help out here, but nobody has any money anymore.
Well, and you said...
And so...
Go ahead.
I just think we have to have conversations like this to remind people that there's a World War III level event going on 5,000 miles away. And if we just open our phones and look at it and realize that these are people that don't deserve to be struck by missiles.
Right.
And I've been living 12 miles away from the Russians over there, hearing the story. So, thanks for bringing me on again and reminding people that there's still a lot of people over in Ukraine that are suffering.
Well, it's not surprising. Our attention span gets kind of short because things come up and we start thinking about other things that worry us. But people can do something right now. They can go to your GoFundMe page and help you get more medical supplies to the scene. I mean, you were trying real hard for a long time to find medical supplies. Now you got to get them shipped.
we have access to this wonderful NGO in Minneapolis called Matter, and they collect all of the excess hospital supplies from, local and regional hospitals, even national. They'll get shipments in of pallets of donated medical supplies that would otherwise land in the landfill. And so they supply local clinics and then also charities around the world, like in Ukraine, with these free medical supplies. And so now we have the opportunity to raise the next $100,000. We've already raised $100,000, and now we're on to the next goal of raising $100,000 to get, if I ship it out of Minneapolis, it'll be $18 million worth of U.S. hospital-grade supply. If I ship it out of New York, which is closer, it's going to be $35 million worth of U.S. hospital-grade supply that we can get over to Ukraine with my little mini supply chain for a mere $100,000. And so that's the next campaign we're working on.
For just a few bucks from each of us to make a massive imprint on helping, and you as part of your organization that you're with, all the other veterans and all the other volunteers doing humanitarian work, you're delivering this stuff where it's needed.
Out to the Donbass, James. We're delivering it to Kharkiv, which is, like I said, second largest city in Ukraine, 1.4 million people before the war started. And there's still people living 10, 12 miles away from the Russians. There's people in villages up there that are a mile away from the enemy line.
Well, they have no place to go, I assume.
We deliver out there. Go ahead.
I assume they have no place to go. Trying to get out isn't going to help them or do anything good for them because they're stuck where they are, and we got to help them.
And it's folks like, I met a 74-year-old the other day. She says, where would I go? What would I do? How would I even start? And doesn't have the financial resources to make it out of the country anyway.
Right.
So you might as well stay where you got a few neighbors and are just going to, ride it out. And these are people that just aren't going to have food this winter. And I ask, your listeners back in America, back where I used to live, like, are you at risk of dying because of the coming winter? These people are. And we have to turn to the back page where it still stands in the news and start paying attention to what I think is the most important thing happening on planet Earth right now. I think if our grandparents were alive, they would ask us to pay a little more attention to something horrible happening on planet Earth.
And I don't want to rile you up, but I have to ask your response. I still see people saying, well, what's so bad? Why not just give Russia what they want and then all the fighting will stop?
What if Russia came and took Rochester and Olmsted County and made it a Russian-occupied territory and made you live by Russian rule and made you to live in a place where the only things you worry about when you wake up in the morning with the sun is, can I get food and water today? I can't get any money unless I go down to the Russian rail yard or seaport or local trash or sanitation department run by the Russians to get money. Imagine if Olmsted County got taken over like that.
I know. It's something that boggles my mind, too. I understand people's reticence about war, but then if we're not going to do that, we certainly can belly up to the bar and each of us give $10. So you can raise $100,000 to get millions of dollars worth of medical supplies to the people that need it, that can't get it. And so much of where you are is just empty. It doesn't have the medical supplies that people need to make it happen. And if it sounds like I'm ringing Mark's bell, I am, because I think this is so important.
Yes. The thing that frustrated me from the very beginning was that the right things do exist on planet Earth. They're just in the wrong place.
Right, exactly.
And I started to identify these. Yes, right? It's just not in the right hands of the right people at the right time. And so we had to figure out how to get a single item from the Mayo Clinic and Hennepin County Medical Center and Alina Health and get a box of supplies from Minnesota all the way over to the Donbass. That's not as easy as you think. Maybe you think it's hard. It is.
Yeah.
And it took us 3 months to get bandages from China in through the Polish border and across into the front lines. These are $3.45 bandages. And these people drool over them. Well, because their soldiers, James, don't have bandages.
I know. And we deal with shortages. There's talk about how we won't have enough Hershey's chocolate for Halloween and stuff because of shipping issues. And that's a big deal to us. But there's also shipping issues that affect all of this other stuff. So the faster we can get on it, the faster you can get the help to the people that need it, that are literally trying to save their country from an enormous fighting force that doesn't get to choose whether they're in the army or not. They have to be there. They're doing it. And everyone knows what it's like to live in Russia, and no one wants these people to have to live like that. And it would just take a few bucks from each of us to make it happen.
We can help. I heard long ago from a Polish citizen that our mission in our fight is to help.
Right.
And that's kind of what I've been trying to live by, is I'm not a fighter. I support American military veterans over here that are on the front lines in the trenches.
Right.
I try to supply them with what they need. And I think that's something everybody can get behind. We stood up a 1 million-man army out here in Ukraine, and they got 1 million in reserve. That's the same size as the U.S. military, and we are 7.5 times larger than their country. It's a huge fighting force, and they don't have the resources down to the bandages in their first aid kits. And they're waiting for the Western world to act. And if governments and armies won't do it, citizens must.
I hope that we
on a little GoFundMe page.
Yeah, and $10, $5 even just $1. I hope that what people will hear when they're hearing us talk today is think back to the time when you saw the Ukrainian president not in a suit, but ready to go out and fight, encouraging everyone to get involved. That's the kind of thing they're talking about there. And I know I'm out of time now, but Mark, I can't tell you how much I love having you on the air and how much I love you for being part of this action that's doing something huge.
Well, I hope it makes a difference, and I will extend my thanks from the Ukrainian people to the Americans listening for doing all you've done so far. So thank you.
You bet. Take care, Mark. It is Y105 FM's early morning show. If you want to donate, just search Mark Lindquist on Y105 FM's app. I'll have a story up later today, but right now you can just search Mark Lindquist, and you'll find all the links you need to help out.
Here's what you missed.
It's not Firehouse. I have been playing Firehouse and Lifehouse my whole radio career, it feels like, and yet I always mess up the names. That is Lifehouse on the Lifehouse? Yes, Lifehouse on the Y105 FM early morning show. Today, Patrick Swayze would have been 70 years old. He passed away in 2009, and he was not the first pick for Ghost. In 1990, director Jerry Zucker told People magazine that, hey, Swayze was not my first choice because he had just done Roadhouse, Next to Kin, action movies. But then he says Swayze read a key scene from the script in Zucker's office, and he says, even though we all knew how this story ends, we all know what this scene is all about, and yet he had us in tears.
I love you, Molly. I've always loved you.
Ditto.
So he changed his mind and hired him for the role. And I just put a clip in there just a little bit because trying to find that clip, no one got that much time to cry. Seriously. I had to get on to work. It's like, oh no, I can't do this anymore. Got allergies. It is Y105 FM's early morning show.
Here's what you missed on the early.
Oh, I'm James Rabe. Time for Rabe Shots. That's Doughheads in the news. And in case you're curious and were listening a few minutes ago when I played a clip from Ghost, yes, I kept watching the YouTube videos of Ghost. It's Patrick Swayze's birthday today. He would have been 70. And yes, it got teary in the studio. A bunch of people joined me. We're all like, this is such a great movie. I got to watch this. Let's go make some clay pots. Anyway, it's Y105 FM's early morning show, Rabe Shots. That's Doughheads in the news. First one goes out to Buffalo Wild Wings for adding a pizza to their menu. No, I'm sorry. That's not right. They're adding a pizza in their menu in time for football, and that's cool. That's fine. But they're saying it has boneless wings on it. It does not have boneless wings on it. It has chunks of deep fat fried chicken breast coated with delicious sauces. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But can we just stop calling boneless wings boneless wings? They're not wings. That's just not. And then there was a story, a post on Spotted in Rochester the other day where a gal wondered if a family that was at the park with a goat, she wondered, it sounds seriously, if she needed to call the police because she was certain they were going to slaughter and cook the goat. And I don't know how someone would think that, looking at a group of people with a goat. Now, I've had curried goat, I've had all kind of goat. Delicious. And there's nothing against cooking goat. I got no problem with that. But why would someone automatically assume that the group was going to slaughter and cook the goat? If it was your average family, would you say that to them? I don't get it. So a Rabe shot there. for, I don't know, not just going and talking to the folks and saying, hey, what's up? Making some new friends. It's Y105 FM.
Quick, hot savings.
Hey, it's James Rabe. Thank you so much for listening to the Y105 FM Early Morning Show Radio on Demand podcast. I hope you'll subscribe and tune in Monday through Friday between 6 and 10 for more fun than you can shake a stick at.